What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound had a absolute bloodbath of a day, went down 28.1% on Friday. I'm going to vaguely touch on that in this video, but essentially a lot of people want to know, is it going to recover? And this week is going to be more linked to technicals. So Monday, markets closed on a side note, but even throughout the rest of the week, you don't have any crazy data points. So on Wednesday, you have building permits and starts. And then aside from that, you have the FOMC minutes. Last couple of occurrences of that, like it just more so reconfirmed what the market was already thinking. So market kind of took that as a positive and caused it to go higher. So I think mid 2024, the FOMC minutes were very feared, but now it's just another data point. And again, I think the market takes it as a somewhat as a positive. A lot of Fed speakers throughout the week, so that's kind of a Russian roulette a little bit. So depending on what they state, but even based on what Powell has stated last week, and I think he reconfirmed it twice, there won't be any rate cuts most likely up until Q3 2025. So I think the market's already now thinking that, price that in. So even if the Fed speakers kind of state the same thing, won't really do that much damage. And then on Friday, you have existing home sales. So like I said, I think it's going to be more of a technical driven week, and that could really stand to benefit or help SoundHound only because of the crazy sell-off. It is very oversold. So I'm going to go over all of that, but specific to SoundHound, there isn't anything really planned for this upcoming week. No recent news or anything. So in case you do not know, the reason why they did sell off is because of people reacting to Nvidia selling out their position. And just to clarify, they did not sell out on Friday. They sold out in Q4. So again, delayed information. And in my opinion, if you kind of take it for face value, so Nvidia did have 1.7 million shares, and even on Friday there was 177 million shares that were traded, and on average right now there's around 58.46 million. And so essentially 1.7 isn't that big of a deal, in my opinion. And the fact that Nvidia sold, yes, it could have some fear linked to it. Maybe SoundHound at the time was overvalued and whatever else. But then again, I think a lot of people at the same time did think the same thing and probably sold similarly at the peak right here. So in my opinion, I don't think it's anything crazy because nothing fundamentally has changed about the company itself. So if you liked it, let's say at 15, at $20, well, hell, this is nothing fundamentally has changed. Balance sheet still stays the same. Obviously, Nvidia hasn't loaned any money to them, so it's not changing in that regard. So if you liked it at 15, at 20, then this is a steal of a deal. So with that said, I do feel a little bit of a recovery is going to occur this week, leading into possibly their earnings. So in case you do not know, earnings was slated for after hours on the 27th. So I'm going to be live streaming that on a side note, but when it comes down to that, that could be potentially a good catalyst depending on what they say and all the other fun jazz. As well, in roughly this same time period, you do have this right here. So the NASDAQ 500, and so that is going to be readjusted, and potentially if SoundHound is added based on market cap, then this is where you could see a whole new level of liquidity coming in. So right now, this is kind of the bottom list. So it shows the numbers 489 to 500 and many others. But right now, the market cap for SoundHound is 4.05 billion. So as long as it doesn't get hit a lot more, it essentially will make this list. So kind of a good thing. But again, if they do get slaughtered or kind of hit a little bit further, then yeah, they regrettably won't be added to this list, and they'll have to wait up until pretty much summer for the most part. But aside from all of that though, shorts. So on Friday, shorts did increase 368,000 shares. 29.2% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 96.12 million shares. So I do anticipate shorts to be fairly active this week to try to suppress and hit SoundHound very hard, and that will be more linked to the technical. So this week will be a pretty strong battle. But aside from all of that though, of the call options that were purchased on Friday, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 11.50 to 12. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 8 for this upcoming week. So they are anticipating definitely more pain in SoundHound's future. So let me know your viewpoint on that. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. Definitely a lot of selling. Even after hours, it did go down a little bit more. So down 28.79, sitting at $10.86. So a lot of big money definitely was selling, but I think this once again puts in perspective that 1.7 million held by NVIDIA, it was more psychological rather than anything, because even looking right here, this one transaction alone is 1.6 million. And then if we kind of scroll down, doesn't look like anything. There's another one, 1.8 as well. So it works out to be $21 million. Dark pool, very, very popular as per usual. So this is where a lot of shorts and large entities do kind of do a lot of their trading. So nonetheless, I do feel that just it will recover, just it needs to get over some key points. So right now with that $10.97, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So $10.02 will be a very strong support. And so obviously based on the options, the bears are anticipating for it to break below that point. Friday did have a low of $10.40. Shorts will try their very best to break it below this $10 range, because then essentially that does mean that their options that are anticipating for it to be roughly around the $8 range, they're going to make some pretty good money off of that. So like I said, it is going to be a battle for this week. If you do want to see a recovery, $12.48 will be the next strong target slash resistance. I don't know if it will be able to recover officially above that for this week. Like I said, given everything, I think the sentiment is very, very bad for SoundHound right now. Just seems to have switched overnight. But again, I do feel like there will be a recovery, just not above this S1. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from all of that, though, one thing that could come out, which would be very interesting, is possibly new analyst ratings. Not bullish, of course. They might be piggybacking off of the negativity associated to NVIDIA selling. But yeah, it'd be interesting. So we did have two bullish ones over the last 2 months. So you had Daniel Ives as well as Scott. So if they, let's say, readjust down to 15 or even 13 or whatever they might do, or let's say a whole new analyst rating does come out, then that could again prompt a little bit of additional fear for investors and everything. But aside from all of that, though, on the actual chart itself, that 100-day moving average right now, which is currently sitting at 1108, that's also going to be a key level that you really want to watch for SoundHound to get above. So SoundHound did do a fairly good job, but again, if we go back over here, you can kind of see that it was largely struggling with that $11 range right here. So after it did officially get broken right here, it struggled to get above that. So that $11 range will be one that you really need to watch for, and for it to get above early on in the week if you're going to see any sort of recovery. So watch for that. But like I said, because of the crazy sell-off, it is considered rather oversold. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Do you think it is going to recover, or do you think this is and was the death sentence for SoundHound? So what's your general thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Give yourself a shout out if you did buy on Friday, or did you dabble with options? Did you sell? What did you do with SoundHound? And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. So I even just posted roughly about 15 minutes ago a new update for SoundHound, price targets, and everything. So let me know your thoughts on all that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.